when we left off, there were a couple of things that I just wanted to follow up on. One of them was that, you had gone through this process of kind of being, semi-successful, and then kind of, you mentioned being homeless, and then getting into, a record deal, and then into film. And when we were leaving the last interview, you were talking mainly about attitude and how important it is to be a person that people want to be around, and be a person that people want to work with, in general. But I'd love to talk about, you said you had got a job with Freddie Hubbard, and you were playing with Freddie Hubbard, and I wanted to talk a little bit about, the series of events from Freddie Hubbard to film, and kind of how that played out for you, if you will. And I think the attitude stuff is so important, and I think that will naturally come out as you speak, because I know it's so important to you, and it's been so important to your career. But also just the practical life events that occurred, you professionally and personally, as you were moving from job to job, or life event to life event, and how you finally ended up, doing music for films. So that's kind of, if that's thanks.
Yeah, it's easy enough.
Cool.
Look, I had an unrealistic and non-reality based outlook on what a career is out here. I told I told everybody when I left college, I said that I'll have a serious job, working with somebody within 2 months of getting in LA. I was that confident about me and about my abilities, and I was pretty certain about it. And the bad news is that I actually did, what I said, and came out here. Within 2 months, I was asked to fly to New York to do a recording with Joe Henderson and Art Farmer, trumpet player Art Farmer. And
wow.
I'm looking at that. I said, 2 months ago I was in college, and now I'm at Electric Ladyland Studios in New York with Joe Henderson, Art Farmer, Will Lee was on bass, and a lot of really amazing musicians. And I thought, great, fantastic, just as it should be. And after that, I got a job on a musical called A Broadway Musical. And I was working on that. And during the time that I was working on that is when Freddie Hubbard started asking me to go on the road with him. But I already had a job, and I thought, I'm just going to stay here and do this. And then one day, they were going through a lot of craziness with this musical. And then one day I just thought, I shouldn't be playing up to the stage. I should be playing on top of the stage. I'm wonderful. And so I called Freddie's manager and said, yeah, I'll go out with him. This is after the third time he asked me.
Wow.
And next thing I know, I was on a plane headed back to Hollywood, and got off the plane and went directly to a rehearsal with Freddie up at his house in Hollywood Hills. And so, then I was out on tour with him, and it was fantastic. It was a great magical moment. And I was touring around the world with him, and I thought, boy, I'm doing really great here. And I thought, well, I'm doing really great because I'm a wonderful musician. I am freaking great. I'm amazing. And since I don't have any intentions of being less amazing, I'll always have this. I figured this whole thing out. This whole coming to Hollywood and making a career thing is easy. No problem. I got it. Switched to a year and a half later, I was bagging groceries at the convenient mart on Melrose.
Man. And how did that all occur?
Reality came. Just because you play good, just because you may have got this one or two cool things, doesn't mean it's all set and your career's done.
Mm-hmm.
I thought there's no more work to do. I have just maintained what I've done, and I will just go from one thing to the next, one wonderful experience to the next, and it's lovely. And pretty soon I'll be picking and choosing, say, oh, I'll do that one. I'll do that one. Oh, yes. No, I don't have time for that. I'll do that one over there, though. That's crazy talk. That's crazy talk. We are built up in our minds with all these fantasies. A Star is Born is a freaking movie. It's not a reality.
Mm-hmm.
It's a movie.
Yeah.
It's not how it goes.
Mm-hmm.
Nobody fucking discovers you on the streets or at some club or bar, and then everything just, and you play and you're so amazing, and then life just completely changes for you forever, and you're just wonderful, and they're just giving you things. And
yeah.
Hello, people. My name is Kurt Farquar, and I've been in this business for 34 years now. In the television business, I've been in Los Angeles for 45 years, and I every day have to work to get my work. I have to work to achieve the next level. I have to work. I have to put in the grind every day to sustain. And you will find that getting in and getting your first jobs and stuff like that is going to be easy. Easy. You'll be wishing for the good old days compared to having to sustain a career over years and years and decades.
Yeah.
It's not a joke. Yes, you still have to sell your music. There was a young composer that came in with me and was shocked that I had to actually have a conversation talking about, this is why we went in this direction, and that's why this, that, and the other. Basically selling your piece, and it might be a little bit different than what he was thinking, and there should be reason for what you're doing. He didn't believe that. He thought you're Kurt Farquar, and you just give them music, you do music, you hand it over. They're just overjoyed that they got music from you. Wow. And they can't wait to just take it and have their lives transformed by my beautiful craft. I gotta work just like the rest of you. I gotta figure it out. I gotta figure out where they're coming from, not where I'm coming from. I've gotta sell and hawk my wares just like everybody else. The only difference in me and you is that I might be a little bit better at that because I'm doing it all the time. And I, of course, differently from you, know that I do have to do this. I have to work. I have to get in there, and I have to put in the grind. I have to figure out what it is that's needed and what's special for, and what's needed for their project. It's part of the grind. I mean, it's and it doesn't change. I no longer am waiting for that time where I'll be able to, just say here and there, I want that. Yes, do I get just offered things now? Absolutely. On a pretty regular basis. But there,
inside of each project, you still have to work.
Yeah, that's not all of it. That's not half of it. That definitely isn't most of it. Most of it is me grinding and trying to get, something, and trying to figure out, trying to get information on who's doing what and how can I get in there. Oh, who do I know that knows so-and-so that knows so-and-so that might be able to get me in there, and some of it is a call in the morning and says, hey, Kurt, you want to work on the show? I said, Yeah. Okay. We'll be here at 11 o'clock. I mean, that's how I got King of Queens. Michael Whitehorn called me up one day and just said, "Hey, literally, you want to do a show?" I said, "Yep." Said, well, get here tomorrow at 11 o'clock. Okay. All right. See you. I mean,
Wow.
and
Wow.
I went and did they explained what they were going through, and a lot of people don't realize that I did not get the first two. I did not have the first two seasons of King of Queens. There were several other composers that did this job, but I managed to have an opportunity to do it, and for whatever reasons, they felt more comfortable with what I was doing than the other wonderfully talented composers. You never know what the reason is, you know.
Sure.
But they seem to survive with what I was doing. I mean, but that's one, about the dozens of things that you're just auditioning for, that you're going out for, and you got to get used to being turned down. You've got to get your sales pitch together just like everybody else, and you're not sitting there dreaming of that day when I no longer have to do that. You should be dreaming about the day when you're just a hell of a lot better at it.
Amen. Yes. Yeah. That's absolutely. That's good.
There it is.
That's good. Yeah.
I read something one time, and I don't know if I should say this or not. It was somebody was talking about another a really 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 major composer, and someone was saying in this article or post or whatever it was online, they're saying, "Oh, I bet he's just he got that because he's just plying the directors and producers with expensive dinners and expensive wines and all of that stuff, and that's all crap, and he was bemoaning how this other person was doing this, and it was and he looked sort of basically looking down on them for doing that. And what was what my thought was in my head?
Good for him.
I said, you don't do this? You don't? You don't have a cellar full of wine that you can put in. You don't have all the best restaurants on speed dial, and you're not trying to, it's not pulling one over on somebody. You're not trying to build real relationship with people.
Right. An active, taking action to really be in that community, and like you're saying, build real relationships. That's absolutely.
That's all I thought. I said, you're not doing that. You think that he's the sucker because he is doing that, and so that's the only reason he got the gig. Well, I tell you, it's probably not the only reason that he got the deal, but I guarantee you, it's part of it.
Right.
We deal with humans. People, and I hate to tell you, humans like it when you tell them that you like what they're interested in.
Sure.
Humans feel good when they're around somebody that feels up and positive and about what they're doing.
Yeah, absolutely.
And for you to not get that means that this is going to be a long, hard, arduous slog for you.
Sure.
You need to read that posting or interview or whatever it was, and say, oh, so that's what I need to do. Yeah, that's what you need to take away from that. You need, that's what I need to do too.
Amen. Well. Yeah, as well.
Well, you have to practice all of the musical things that you have to do. No, but I have not found a bottle of wine, whiskey, or bourbon or food that will solely by itself get me a job. Not my smile by itself is not going to make somebody say, something, this music sucks, but I just put them over here. No, it goes without saying that you have to do the rest. You have to do the work, but to but to feel like that these other things aren't a part of it, you know.
Sure.
When you're dealing with humans on a daily
Mm-hmm.
basis that have their needs and have their wants and have what's important to them, uh, uh, and you just say, I'm not going to deal with that. I'm wonderful. That takes you back to being me when I first showed up here. I'm really great. I have no intentions of being less great, so I will always work.
Mm.
And you too can start bagging groceries.
Bagging groceries.
I mean, yes. I mean that's
right.
That's how you want to go with it. I think more work for me then. Okay, great.
So what was that? Was it the bagging groceries that was the attitude adjustment? What adjusted your attitude to make you feel like, okay, I need to start, building relationships. I need to start thinking about the way that I'm presenting myself, the way that I think about other people in their career. I remember in our last call, you said, I started approaching it as, how can I make this person's life a little bit easier? And I think that's such a wonderful approach to any type of work that anybody is doing, but what at the end of the day, you're bagging groceries and then what, how did you move from there to your next job and mentally as well?
Well, that wasn't enough because I'm really hard-headed and stupid. And again, I thought I was wonderful. I was perfect, This happened to me. That I worked that for 6 or 8 months, and then I ended up getting another gig, and it's back on the road again, blah blah blah, but there was a long string of other things that happened after that, but I still didn't get the point. When I got the point was when I actually did ended up on the streets. It wasn't until then, and I decided that at that point in life that I was gonna change the things that I could. And the only thing that I could change is me. The only thing that I had within my control was me, because I didn't own anything. I didn't have everything that I had was in a bag, in an old Ralph's supermarket bag or something. So the only thing you could change is who you are. I decided that the idea of positivity and self-worth and doing for others also needs to start now. I used to say that I would have 50 cents and give a quarter to another homeless person like I had it to give. Come on.
Right. Yeah.
But I started literally helping elderly people across the street, and I mean, I thought to myself, I said, you have to decide who you're going to be now, right now, because saying that, oh boy, when I get rich someday, I'm going to do all of these wonderful things for others and I'm going to do special things. And no, you're not.
Mm-hmm.
If you're a greedy, hoarding, self-possessed person, while you're broke, you're going to be in a heightened, seasoned, greedy, hoarding person, just rich. I decided that I was going to be that decent person now. I decided that I was going to take me out of the equation. And what I mean by that, when I'm adding up at the end of the year and you say, well, this didn't work, that didn't work, blah, blah. Why didn't it work? I said, I was never going to be a part of that equation. I was going to be the person that worked the hardest, that was the most joyous person that you saw while you're at work. I was going to be the person that did 10 times more than what was expected of me. I was never going to be the person that was complaining about it. You're never going to hear out of me, do you know what I had to do, how late I had to stay up to do this piece of music? Who doesn't care? I mean, literally, in all honesty, why should any of my producers care about that? Why should any of my directors care what travails I had to go through to get this music done. You just don't know. And what I had to spend on this new sound for you, that really, that almost took me to the brink. First of all, from my understanding, none of them care, and nor should.
Sure.
Why would they care about that? There's so many things that they have to care about at that point. Why would they care about that? You should be thankful that you have the opportunity to spend your last dime on trying to make their project work. Put your last bit of human energy into making this the best musical expression that you could ever do. And there should be thankfulness that you got to do it, not pride that you're special because you did. You know, thankful that you even had the opportunity to do it. Well, this isn't a given.
Yeah,
it isn't a given that I get another show tomorrow. You know, I'm genuinely thankful for every single one, and I go to work every day like this could be the end of it. So let's go and throw down, you know. And I want people with me that have that same thought in their heads, you know, that they're coming there and they're coming to really throw down and really work and really have fun with it. Bring your joy.
Yes.
Bring your joy. The joy isn't out there looking for you. The joy is already in you, and why don't you bring it with you? Why are you gonna leave it at home? Unpack. Well, we're gonna take this out of the bag and we're gonna leave it over there. You know, leave our joy right on the couch in front of the TV. We'll be back, you know, and we'll pick the joy back up when we get home, because I gotta go work. You know, you know, for real, a musician.
Yeah.
Right. One of
the coolest jobs you can have. Yeah.
I mean, are you kidding me? I get to do what I was doing when I was 10 years old and get paid enormous amounts of money for it. And I'm supposed to be, ain't no paper hat on my head. And not that there's a problem with that, but I'm just saying.
Sure.
That and I'm supposed to find something to complain about that. Not going to happen. So I figured that out while I was on the streets and brought that with me and sustained, you know, who I decided I was going to be. You know, folks out there aren't going to change me in terms of, you know, that some good things are going to happen to you, bad, complicated things are going to happen to you. Nobody can save you from all of that. You just get to choose how you're gonna, not what road you're going down, but how you're going to go down that road. You know.
Yeah.
You can do it with positive energy and or not. You know, that's a choice too. I mean,
sure.
I leave that to you.
Yeah. No, that's beautiful. Well said. And great advice for anybody. I think that's, you know, for any job, but especially the entertainment industry, especially the music industry and film industry, because there is so much negativity in the industry in general, you know. And so to be that person that shows up and that's positive and joyful and a pleasure to be around is such a breath of fresh air, you know. And so it makes, and then talented and skilled in their respective field, you know, is just, it's a beautiful thing to have that combination. And I think you're spot on. And not many of that combination exists, you know, in general. So that's beautiful.
They assume that you can do the music. Hell, most of us have been doing this since we were 3, 4, 5 years old, you know. I mean, let's face it, by the time you get your first television show, you've probably been doing music for 15 or 20 years.
Sure.
You've probably been doing it longer than the person that's hiring you.
Wow. Yeah.
A lot of writers, I know so many writers that have law degrees from Harvard that have degrees and that have worked as attorneys in some of the biggest law firms, but now they changed. That wasn't them. They didn't feel like that was their real calling, their heart, and now they're a writer. I know guys that didn't decide that they were going to be a writer until they were in their 30s.
Wow. Yeah.
And my brother is an example. My brother is one of those two human beings that get chosen from every state in the union. They get to go to West Point.
Wow.
He was a West Point cadet, and he ended up leaving there, finding that after a couple of years, and finding that wasn't really what he wanted to do. But he still was more of a straight-laced thing, and ended up after getting his master's degree at University of Illinois, he ended up came right out here and married and was an executive at a pharmaceutical company.
Wow.
Now, and those of you that know my brother Ralph, he's the guy that created Moesha and Parker's, and was a writer on Married with Children. His very first writing job was on Happy Days.
Wow.
Basically a comedy writer. That happened. He a very circuitous road to getting there. He was already an adult when he was doing it. I had already been, when he first said, "Oh, I had an epiphany and said I want to be an actor," which he did for a second. God, and thank God that didn't continue. But he had an interesting thing. When I came out here, he was saying he was an actor, but he always lit up when he talked about writing. When he talked about acting, he talked about wanting to be a star. When he talked about writing, he always talked about the craft and the joy of that. So that's something for people to put in their pipe and smoke. That's
true. Yeah.
Really something to consider when you're thinking about what you do. But he was a grown man, an adult. I had been doing this since I was a child. So like most musicians.
Sure.
And so again, I say, you've not only been probably doing it for 15 or 20 years, when you get your first writer job, composer job, you have more than likely been doing it longer than the person that is hiring you in many cases. Because the people that have been doing it for a long time already have their people,
sure,
already have their folks, that they work with, so you're going to have to get somebody new.
Sure. Yeah. Wow.
Hate to tell you, but if you're holding out hope for that special day when I've been working with Felicia Henderson since for over 20 years. I say, if you're holding out hope for that time when you're going to walk in and say, "I'm going to get me a Felicia Henderson job,"
yeah,
probably not a good, probably not the best business plan you come up with.
Right.
You want to find the up and coming Felicia Henderson, and find her and work with her and be the guy that she says she can't do without, or find this gentleman and be. And I love what's his name that did Black Panther, Ludwig. He and the director have been friends since college. He went to his school at USC where they had a great film school, film music school, but they had a great film school for directors and writers. And he was genuine friends with somebody that was in the writer program,
Wow.
In the directing program. That makes sense, and they genuinely had a connection, you know what I mean? And that was real. I think, that's how it's done. of making your connection with somebody somewhere, sometime, as soon as you possibly can.
Hmm.
It, the I if my I always make the joke that I only work for Steven Spielberg, but if that's my plan
Right.
to to, to I'm gonna get out here and I'm gonna get me a job with Steven Spielberg, and that's my plan for moving forward. Really?
Right. Right.
And unless that plan also includes murder, you probably don't
Right.
have a big a big heaping load of possibilities
Right.
for that next movie.
Hmm. Yeah. Yeah. That's
Just a thought.
such good advice. Absolutely. Absolutely. Well, we're up on our time. What's on the horizon for you? These, the next few years. What are some of the things you're looking forward to?
There's the next few years are going to be pretty amazing. There's just a lot that's going on. Very much that I can't talk about, but I can talk about the new Proud Family. Louder and Prouder season 2 is amazing. Really, I really strongly suggest anybody that gets a chance. They dropped all of the episodes at once on February 1st, and they're available now. So on Disney Plus,
Awesome.
please check that out. It really is. It These stories that they're telling us, I'm the most proud of what we're getting, of what we're able to do on that show. Um, there's just a lot of amazing and special opportunities because the writers are writing some amazing and special things. They give us an opportunity to stretch.
Mm.
We have a wonderful this show called Sacrifice on BET Plus that is just absolutely fantastic. I'm just begging folks to come in and watch that when it comes out later this year, and we're coming up for episode 100 of The Neighborhood on CBS. Woohoo!
Wow.
I'm getting ready to record the music for it, and we're just very, very excited about this. And we've been picked up for season 6, so we're continuing on and having a great time with Cedric and all guys and gals over at the Neighborhood.
Fantastic. Well, Mr. Kurt Farquar, thank you so much for taking the time, for your advice, for your experience, for sharing, your stories, and just being so open and vulnerable. And I just really appreciate all your energy. And just thank you so much. Really appreciate it.
I appreciate you. Thank you.